Coming up on this episode of We're No Damn Experts, we're talking about a great place to see all kinds of birds and wildlife, and it's just north of Great Falls. We're talking with an expert about the best time of year. Hint, it's coming up soon to be there. Plus, I get to coin a new term. That's coming up.
Best damn podcast, the best damn town. You want to get up, get ready to get down. With its big wide sky and the wild river Thames, if you want to go, we can take you there to Great Falls, Montana.
Welcome to the greatest damn town in Montana, Great Falls. I'm Rebecca Ingham.
I'm Shannon Newth,
And we're No Damn Experts. Shannon, I felt like that Sweaty Balls skit from SNL.
From SNL, yeah.
Just that intro was like the NPR thing. So I'll liven it up next time, folks. Just
Well, we
know
haven't.
I recognize that.
It feels like it's been a while. We go in spurts with
We do.
recording. That's on me, but
Yeah. But it works out
happens.
for our schedule.
It does work out. So it's been a while, knocking the rust off.
So, Shannon,
Yeah.
tell me what's happening today. There's this random man in our podcast
Yeah.
studio. I mean, he's not random. For us, it's random.
Yes. Well, not for me. Mostly for you.
Yeah.
I've been chatting with him already. So anyway, we have Bob Johnson from Benton Lake Wildlife Refuge here. And you're the refuge manager?
Yes.
Is that the correct title
Right.
for you?
Ooh.
Okay. Well, welcome.
Which
We're
is
glad to
not
have
a
you.
big deal.
It sounds like a big
Oh,
deal.
it's not.
You
Bob.
have manager in your title.
Yeah, that means you do a lot of administrative nonsense.
So so this is federal. This
Yeah.
is federal stuff.
Right.
So there's
See, that makes you a big deal to your federal manager.
yeah.
A lot of people don't like the federal government.
That's true. You're like, don't say that too loudly.
Try to keep that, on the hush hush.
Now, what kind of wildlife do you have out at Benton Lake?
Oh, we got all
Wildlife.
kind. It was established as a refuge and breeding ground for birds in 1929.
Oh,
Holy moly!
It was withdrawn from the public domain by executive order from President Hoover.
Who?
oh,
It's
okay.
13,000 plus acres. In 1950, they bought a piece of ground over by Power, and they put a pump house on there. So we pump water from Muddy Creek, which is Greenfield's
Oh.
irrigation district return flows,
Huh?
which is incredibly expensive. And
Wait.
So,
So it's not like a natural marsh.
it's a marsh, and it's not a lake. I don't know why it was ever named a lake. It's a seasonal marsh. It's
Okay.
6,000 acres, and it depends on runoff.
maybe
Oh.
lake sounds more appealing than marsh, maybe?
Well, we've had people show up with their boats wanting to go
Fish.
walleye fishing, but that's a
Oh.
little problematic since there's no fish in there.
Right.
And not really a clear spot to put an actual boat.
No.
No.
Okay,
no,
so
no.
all that, well, so there's
So don't
some
go
water
fishing
there
first.
because it's
If
a
we
marsh,
have good
but you
runoff, it's
pump
about,
in.
you need 11,000 acre feet of water to fill the place up.
Okay, that's a lot of
And,
water.
Yeah, we don't usually get that much runoff. Last year we had
Yeah.
virtually none. This year there isn't going to be any
Yeah.
unless we get some major snows. And for us to pump, it costs us about $66 to pump an acre foot of water.
Holy.
Wow.
So, and we don't have that kind of money. We used to have an appropriation that we get specifically for pumping. Now we have to take it out of our base budget, which is really difficult to do.
Whew.
So maybe this is diving in a little too soon. I don't know. Why? So
You
there's
don't
the-
want to get too intimate right
like,
away.
I don't know. So there's the marsh. So there's usually some type of moisture there.
Yeah, usually.
How does it affect the wildlife refuge if you just
Don't-
say we run out of money, we can't pump the water
If there's
in
no
anymore?
water, then you haven't got any breeding
Yeah.
waterfowl, shorebirds. And that's what people come to see. I mean,
Right.
the people call me since Monday to come see the swans. There's probably 500 to 1,000 tundra swans out there right now.
Oh.
And ducks and geese that are migrating and shorebirds. And we have a huge population of eared grebes. They get their little babies that ride on their back. Really cool. People
Oh,
love that
that's
stuff.
cute.
And they come out and watch that. But the evaporation rate up there is 44 inches a year, and the annual precept's 13.
Oh,
So
that
if
doesn't
you
add up
don't,
then.
yeah,
Math.
it'll
The
dry
math
out
isn't
by
mathing.
late August if you don't pump.
So, Bob, I'm going to back us up just a
Yes,
little bit.
good idea.
Tell us about you. Are you a Great Falls guy? How long you been into birds? How long you been out at the Benton Lake Wildlife Refuge?
Federal employee.
All the fun stuff. Your social security number?
Yeah.
You don't have to actually give that.
Yeah. Well, I'm a New England Yankee by birth.
Oh.
Um,
I think you're the first one
really?
for us.
I went to school at UMass, got a bachelor's. I went to Michigan Tech and got a master's. Then I got a job at the regional office in Minneapolis. Then I went to North Dakota. Then I came here in 1991.
Regional office of what?
Fish and Wildlife Service.
Okay.
Man, you've just gradually progressed west.
Well,
Yeah.
you know,
Westward ho.
you know what they say. I wasn't born here, but I got here as quick as I could.
Yeah.
So
And now that you say that, I can like
A
tiny bit
tinge of
here.
Eastern accent.
Yep.
And I was also told once by a speech pathologist, there are no accents. There are just simply
Dialects?
substandard regional dialects.
Substandard.
Substandard regional
so was she
dialects.
saying yours is substandard?
Yeah, that's what she told me.
Okay.
I've gone to the doctor a number of times and been told, oh, that's normal. I'm like, it can't be normal if I've just gotten it. Like, nobody else does this, right?
Exactly.
They're like, no, that's normal.
Everything you've done before has been abnormal.
I guess.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden I have a new infliction. I don't like being told, oh, that's normal.
Yeah.
Shouldn't be. I wasn't
don't want
doing it
that
for
to
the
be
20
normal.
years beforehand.
Yeah. Anyway.
So you've been in the Great Falls at Benton Lake since
Since 91.
91.
Wow.
That's a long time, Bob.
Don't care to go anywhere else.
Were
Well, that's
you
good.
always drawn to birds or wildlife, or were you just drawn to not being around people?
Or both. You can say both.
I had a grandfather who was a rabid hunter,
Okay.
and my dad wasn't, but I spent a lot of time with Grandpa. And Grandpa was, and back in Massachusetts in the 50s and 60s, there weren't a lot of deer. But Grandpa would go out and he'd find a spot and he'd sit there all day and he'd smoke a cigar and he'd light a fire and he'd shoot some big whitetail buck every single year. And all his grandsons would be running around all over the place and never see a damn thing. And then you'd hear Grandpa shoot and we'd all go over there and help Grandpa. And he'd keep telling us, this is how you got to do it. And we never listened.
Of course not. Yeah.
We just never listened.
Yeah.
So as you grow older, now I can do that. I can sit all day. But I've kind of reached the point where, I go out hunting and I really don't care if I shoot an elk anymore. It's just kind of gotten to that point
the
where I just have to be out
experience.
there.
Yeah.
I know fellas like that.
It's funny how you change when you're a kid.
Yeah.
If you don't get your limit, there's something wrong with you. And as you get a little older, I'll shoot a few. And then as you get even older, it's like, I don't really care. I
Right.
just like being out there.
Just like being
Yeah.
outside.
I've hunted
Yeah.
with the same guys out here since I got here. And we go to deer camp every year. And we drink a lot of good beer. We eat a lot of good food. And we just kind of hang out in the
Perfect.
woods, smoke some good cigars, and have a good time.
That sounds like a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It does sound fun.
So with your job, because you do work for the government, you do a lot of administrative stuff, do you actually get to be outside that
Oh,
much
yeah.
anymore?
Not as much as I'd like to.
Yeah.
It's the administrative burden in the federal government is absurd.
Mm.
And we do more silly nonsense than you can possibly believe. You just sit there and scratch your head half the time.
Yeah.
Why do we do that?
Yeah.
But we do.
That's what we do.
Yeah.
There's really no way around it.
Is your office at Benton Lake
Yes.
at least? Okay.
Yeah.
So you can wander out
we
there.
used to have an office that was full of people, and a lot of those people have gone away.
Okay. Was that
or-
a COVID thing or just
No,
over
they
time?
just budget reductions. People have been cut, and some people work full time from home.
Uh-huh.
They work remotely all the time, so we have a lot of empty offices now,
Gotcha.
which is unfortunate, but that's
Yeah.
just kind of the way it goes. And our budgets just keep going down and down and down.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
costs keep going up and up and up, so you get that gap is getting bigger.
Yeah.
So
So let's talk about the refuge itself.
Mm-hmm.
What are the hours? I've been told you do not go out there at night.
no,
And not just you, it applies to everybody.
Yeah, like it wasn't just so folks before we went on the air, I shared that I was explicitly told that you do not go out to Benton Lake Wildlife Refuge after dark. And I'm like you don't want me going?
And I was
or
trying
is
to
that
clarify,
like
is that just a Rebecca rule?
and she's like, no, nobody is allowed to go out there. There's a gate, I guess, that
no,
goes.
we don't close
Oh,
any gates. There's no
okay.
gates.
So honor system, don't
Yeah.
go out there.
It's open from an hour before sunrise to a half hour after sunset.
Okay.
Does something bad happen when the sun goes down?
Well, it's marshy. You're gonna fall in somewhere. If you're
No,
not-
that you.
Bob's like,
He's like, that's
"Shush,
not the
your
problem."
mouth."
there's bad stuff that goes on out there sometimes. We've got
Okay.
an LEO who's a really super guy, and if you're out there at night, we will know you're there, and you will get a visit from him.
Ooh.
That sounds scary.
So he's not there every time, but
Okay.
we have cameras and stuff in certain places, so he knows if you've been on there.
Okay.
So what's
I'm
the
not gonna do it.
experience out there? we've talked a lot about birds, breeding ground, which means mating, which means there's only some time of the year where they're mating. But what do people do seasonally, year round? What's the attraction?
They're just coming out to look at wildlife, basically. And we have grizzly bears on there, and we've had them running around by the office.
Ooh.
I mean, every now and then an elk will come running through there, or a moose. I mean, there's lots of white-tailed deer on there. We've got a few mule deer, lots of shorebirds, lots of waterfowl, lots of passerines, little guys. So
Go ahead.
I was just going to clarify real quick. Where is Benton Lake Wildlife Refuge in comparison to Great Falls?
you just go straight north on Bootlegger Trail, takes you right to it. It's
Okay.
about 8 miles north of town.
Okay. I just wanted to clarify for people where we were talking about, because when we start talking about, there's bears and elk and all of that, it is pretty close to town.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just kind of right up over the hill.
Yeah.
It's nature. So when people go out there, you talked about this massive amount of acres, but are you allowed to just wander all the acres?
You got it. There's an 8-mile auto tour. It's a closed loop.
Okay.
But believe it or not, one elderly lady once managed to get lost and panic-stricken on the 8-mile closed loop. She couldn't find her way back, which I have still yet to figure out. Since you
if
just
it's a
keep
loop
going
that
in a
goes
circle.
by the
This from a
parking
woman
lot.
who got stuck in Lead and Deadwood, South Dakota. I feel for her.
Well, yeah,
because
but
my
this
friends
is
are like, "How did you do that?"
It's
I'm
a
like,
big circle. It's like
at
she
some
stopped
point
and
you're
couldn't
gonna
figure out how to get back. It's like, well,
You just keep following the loop.
There's no other way to go.
so there's
She just kept going back and forth in the
an
same
8-mile auto loop.
It's
It's a
pretty hard to
circle.
get screwed up, but she did.
loop, meaning you'll come back to the same spot eventually.
Bob, I'm coming out and I'm doing it. I'm going to see if I get stuck.
No, I guarantee you won't. Just
He's going to see you
follow
out
the
there and
road.
just be like, nope,
Just go
on your
around.
own. Yeah.
It's and not 2/3 of it. Part of the refuge is open for hunting, upland birds
really?
and waterfowl. Yeah, hunting is one of the priority uses of the National Wildlife Refuge System. Believe it or not.
I had no idea. I did not
Yes.
think you could
Yep.
hunt or
Nope.
do anything
That's
of that sort
priority
out
use.
there.
Priority use.
Okay.
There's,
So-
as a separate note, just out past Giant Springs along River's Edge Trail, as you're heading out towards kind of the Cochrane Dam, there's bird hunting out there, and it's like right in town.
It's like a little startling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a little surprising.
Well, if you
Okay.
go down the hill towards the interpretive center,
Yep.
guys will hunt ducks down there, and our LEO guy works a lot down there because people don't have a means of retrieval. So you're dumping ducks
Yeah.
and they're floating away in the river,
Yeah.
and it's like can't do that.
Yeah.
So
That's a good point.
I live fairly close to there, and fall mornings I'm out raking leaves, and it sounds like World War III down there.
I've
Okay.
heard that.
I
I've not
didn't
been there
realize
in
that.
person.
That's a good thing to know if you're, meandering along the River's Edge Trail during that time of year.
Be advised, you might have
Yes.
a goose fall on your head.
Yeah.
It could be.
Wear your bright colors.
You're right. Wear your bright colors.
Bob, before we get back, what's LEO?
Law enforcement officer.
Oh, that's a good thing.
And we have, our guy's one of the best. He's an ex-Marine, and he is really, really good.
Yeah, you don't mess with those guys. Is that the
No.
guy who comes out at night and talks to you?
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
he's a super duper guy. Best
Yeah.
guy,
Shannon, go
best
out-
one I've ever worked with.
Go out there and see the night sky.
Well, I'm going to talk to Bob more about this after, but we're arranging for me to go out there, which would involve me being there before the light comes
to go in
up.
the grouse house, you got to.
But
be
I
there.
would be allowed.
Yeah, I'll meet you guys.
He's
and
not gonna
take
come
you out
after me
there.
at
no,
night.
No.
Yeah, I'm excited about the grouse house.
Yes. Before we get, go ahead.
I got to finish my question.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So beyond the 8-mile auto loop, what else do people do out there?
They can ride their horses if you stay on the auto tour.
Okay.
They'll ride bicycles.
Okay.
There's this one lady that comes out with her sled dogs, and
Oh.
she doesn't have a sled. She just hauls butt rocket with her dogs. I watched her one day. It's like that woman's in really good shape.
We do have some Iditarod level.
Well, this
sled
lady's been
people
out there.
around
She
here.
brings her dogs and just goes zooming around the auto tour, which is fine.
That's it. 8-mile loop. That seems
Yeah.
good.
The building looks like it is got some interpretive.
There's a little visitor
Thing.
center inside. We
Okay.
have one of the previous refuge managers had this thing called a touch table where there's hides and feet and
Okay.
Ooh.
skulls.
Yeah.
And it's the only place that kids can come and touch stuff. Most of the time when you're with your kid and they
Yeah.
touch something, don't do
Don't
that.
touch
Yeah.
it.
No, we don't do that. We promote that kind of stuff. We got
Touch away.
grizzly,
I like
grizzly
that.
bear feet and wolf
Oh.
hides and
Oh, wow.
antlers, all that kind of stuff.
That's a place my husband would like to take me because everywhere we're in, besides a museum, I get a museum. I don't touch things there, but everywhere else, I'm always like, and he's like,
you can come
she can't
touch
not
stuff there.
touch. She can't not touch. So I'm gonna be like, we're gonna go here,
Come out there and
touch everything.
That's what you're supposed to do.
When you go
Perfect.
shopping, do you touch every shirt?
Oh, yeah. I
me
got
too.
it. The texture of the thing, and he's like, she
Stop
can't
touching.
not touch. I'm like, there's nothing wrong with me touching this. I need to feel it.
There's no sign.
Yeah.
In addition to,
You guys would be a blast to go shopping with.
yeah, you're gonna do it once, and then
I
you're
want
gonna
a
end up
shirt.
with
I
our
just pick up the
husbands.
shirt
Yeah.
or pick up the sock and
Nope.
I go
Oh,
home.
we
I
get
just
to the
walk and
blankets
walk.
and pillow section.
Oh, does
Really?
this feel good? What do the sheets
I
feel
just
like?
Never
Oh,
kind of got there.
yeah, you gotta take the time, Bob.
Yeah. Enjoy life.
Blanket's a blanket. It's like,
Oh,
whatever.
No, it's not.
I've also seen, and I don't know if it's part of the auto tour or not, but a pier that walks
the
out.
boardwalk. Yes.
So
Yeah,
how
that's
long's
the
the
like
boardwalk?
image I have in my brain.
It's
Is
a-
that part of the loop?
Well, I had no
It
idea.
runs off the loop. It's a quarter
Okay.
mile, and it's a national
Oh.
recreation trail, official national recreation trail.
Okay.
A quarter mile.
So you got a
That's-
piece of paper right there
Yeah,
that
Gail
framed and
Norton was the
everything.
yes, Gail Norton was the
Oh.
Secretary of the Interior and signed all that. It's like
look at
whoop-de-doo.
that.
So that's different from the loop.
Right. It's you can
The
park
loop
and
doesn't have any special.
no, the loop is just an auto tour.
Yeah, no piece of paper there.
No,
Sorry,
super
No
duper,
ribbon
no.
cutting that happened with that one.
We
Okay.
built a very expensive boardwalk, which is
Yeah.
now falling apart. We're going to rebuild it. So
It
it's
is
With
a
all
beautiful
all your
piece.
extra money.
no, it's construction money. I won't tell you how much that's going to cost because you'll probably have a stroke.
Yeah.
Well, no, we got quotes for building 3 walls down in the basement.
Of this building.
I have some general idea of what of a sticker shock,
It's
very long
mind-boggling.
boardwalk.
Yeah.
So do you take donations up at the visitor center after people touch? They can drop $50 in the.
Believe it or not, you can't donate to the
Government?
donate to the federal government. You have to have some mechanism of doing it. We've had rich
I
people.
donate to the government every year. Yeah.
Well, yeah, but you
No, you
have
don't.
to. It's not voluntary.
That's true.
Not a
Yeah.
donation.
We all do that.
That's true.
We had a guy once, a very rich dude, wanted to give us a whole bunch of money, and there was really no way to do that.
That seems
under
odd.
the table.
Yeah, well, it's
Found this cash pile. We found this bucket of cash.
Yeah. Whoops. I was on the loop. Send that lady to find it. Give her. Yeah.
you can find weird stuff on the loop sometimes.
I bet.
We had a tragedy once where we tell people you have to keep your dogs on a leash. And
I was going to ask if you can take a dog.
yes, as long as
Okay.
on a leash. And this elderly couple came out with their little foo-foo dog, and the little foo-foo dog jumped out of the truck and disappeared and was never seen again.
Oh no. Into
They
the
had a little
marsh.
blankie they brought out, and we never saw the damn dog again.
I do have to tell you, Bob, it's a little bit related to this, but we went and got 5 trees for our house in Missoula. And the guy who was growing the trees had this big yard, and just as a hobby, he grew trees and sold them. Our yellow lab was in the pickup, and we're like, oh, just calm down. And he is freaking out because he's seeing trees, he's seeing mountains, and it's a Labrador. So he just loves water. Well, we don't see any water. And the guy's like, no, you can let your dog out. It's fine. So we open up the door and he flies out. And within seconds, he's back at our feet, soaking wet. And I looked at him and I looked at my husband and I looked at the tree guy and I'm like, where did he find water? And he goes, oh, we've got a huge koi pond in the backyard.
No.
I'm like,
Oh dear. Did he kill a bunch of koi?
he didn't.
That's
He
good.
just jumped in the water. I'm like, well, my dog played with your koi fish. So he goes, oh, that's fine. And I'm like, it's not fine. How I got this wet
Well,
dog?
It's a
Yeah.
yellow. It's lab.
Yeah.
I've had many yellow lab. The first one I had spoiled me. That dog was on
yeah.
a complete another level. That dog was beyond smart. There was something. That dog was
This is
freaky
not
smart.
a normal lab.
And he also had some sort of genetic anomaly where he never got cold.
Oh.
He could stand in ice water and hunt ducks all day and he'd shiver.
Oh wow.
And
Wow.
I'd never had a dog like that before. I mean,
Yeah.
literally, he'd be caked in ice and he never even shivered.
Wow.
And he was super, super smart.
Hmm.
I mean, way too smart to be a field trial dog. He would have done terrible at field trials
Yeah.
because he did everything that made way more sense. And you got to go here and you
yeah.
got to go there. He just did all
Yeah.
that kind of crap.
His instinct.
He was mind-boggling, and he hated little kids, which was very rare for
Yeah.
a lab. You couldn't.
That
He
is.
was dangerous around kids. He
Oh,
hated for some
man.
reason. He half the time he didn't like me, but that's another story.
You guys got along well.
But
Yeah.
God, that dog could hunt. He just
That is weird for a lab, though.
When he was 6 months old, we were sandhill crane hunting in North Dakota, and we wing-tipped one, and he flew over the hill. And now this dog had never seen a crane before. He's 6 months old. He's not that big. So the crane, they get up, they get big, and they hold out.
Yeah.
That damn dog went over the hill and tackled that crane like a linebacker and killed it like that.
Oh, my
no fear
gosh.
at all.
My gosh.
Most dogs are a little like, not
Especially
him.
at
Scared of
6 months
sandhill
old.
cranes.
Not him. He just went boom. It's like, oh, well, this is quite interesting.
Wow.
That dog was afraid of nothing.
Yeah.
He was something else. He was
Wow.
What was his
super-
name?
Bud.
Bud.
Good name.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the first time I saw a sandhill crane, I was like, that is a monstrosity of an animal.
They nest.
Yeah.
They nest out at the refuge. You can come
do
out and
they?
see the little guys sometimes, which are called colts. Baby cranes are called
Oh.
colts.
Colts?
Colts.
Like a horse.
Yeah. How they ever got that name, I don't know.
That's weird.
The
they
thing,
did.
the animal world.
My husband had a yellow lab. He's since passed since him and I have gotten married. His name was Hunter. He was a terrible hunter from what I've heard. He tried to train him sort of to come along hunting with him. Hunter would swim up to a bird and just be like, oh, there it is. And then swim back, like not actually get it. But that
Not
dog,
a good trait.
No, that dog's favorite thing about hunting was sharing trail mix in the blind
Yeah.
with my husband. That was about all he was good for as a hunting
well,
dog.
Bud was he was on another level. And the second
Yeah.
lab I had, his name was Cody. He was like a hippie. He'd stay in the boat with you, and he'd kind of lay there. And if things got slow, he'd jump out of the boat and go a little walkabout. Pretty soon, you'd see him taking a nap on a rat house over there.
Sounds like
and then you
Hunter.
shoot a couple of ducks, and he'd look at you like, do I have to? And he'd come wandering over, and he'd go retrieve and bring them back. And then he'd get in the canoe, and they go lay down again. It's like,
how are those dogs the same
I
breed?
don't know.
Yeah,
But they're completely different. It
How
was like,
funny.
that was my hippie dog.
I like his style.
Totally
Cody would be more my
He
style.
was, and then with my ex-wife, when I was around, he ignored her in the house. He wouldn't have
Okay.
anything to do with her. But she always told me when I wasn't there, he'd never leave her side. And one night, he was in the backyard, and he was a really easygoing dog, and it was just getting dusk, dark, where he couldn't see. And I walked in the yard, and he didn't see me. And he turned around, and I never heard that dog growl like he did, and the hair stood up on his back. It's like,
Ooh.
I'm thinking if somebody had tried to do something to Kimmy, that dog would have
Yeah.
taken him on.
That's
But
good to know.
I had never seen him do that before.
This
But
is
he
the
was
hippie.
hippie dog.
Yeah.
The hippie dog that had
He's
some
in
good,
action when he needs to be, I
He
guess.
was. He really was.
Oh, good dog. So you can go take
Yeah,
your dogs
as long
on
as
that
keep him on
loop
a
out
leash.
there.
And of course, when it's open for hunting, they don't have to be on a leash in the hunt area.
Yeah.
So use them for ducks or partridge.
Is there a
grouse, pheasants.
different space just for hunting?
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
And
There's-
is that got a sign or something?
Yeah, you can get
Okay.
a map. Shows you where to go.
That's good.
So you don't get confused.
It's not part of the loop.
No, it's just separate from the loop.
I'm just going to stick to the loop. That's
the
my
loop's
lesson.
easy. The loop's easy. Not a problem.
Bob, you're a manager out there, so I think you can just make things happen. I think there's some unique opportunities to do some night sky viewing out at Benton Lake Wildlife Refuge. But if you can't be there after dark,
Well, plus we got a lot of lights.
oh,
Which they just put a
well, I've
bunch
never
of.
been out there at night, obviously.
Well, yes, you
There's
weren't
a
allowed.
light on the office which shines on the flag, which is not up there now because the flag system has a rope deal that freezes in the ground and you can't get the damn flag up and down in the winter.
Yeah.
And then there's another light for the parking lot. So it really, if they weren't there, it'd be pretty good. Then we just put some lights on the shops. There's a lot of light over there.
It's too much light.
It's not the best.
That's a good idea.
It was until
We
The
put
lights
up all the
ruined it.
lights. If there were no lights, it'd be pretty cool.
lights are helpful though, like in the winter.
Yeah,
And to avoid the marsh.
drive off the edge of the road into the water.
It's well marked, you said, Bob.
Yeah.
You said it was well marked.
There's upside down cars and bodies all over the place.
Yeah, when you see that, you know you've reached it.
Don't go there.
How many different species of birds are out there?
I brought some bird
Oh,
pamphlet. I think
good.
they've recorded like 250 on the refuge.
Oh, wow.
Now that you don't see those
that's a lot of
constantly
different-
all the time. I mean, that
Right.
stuff. Some of them are pretty damn rare, but there's quite a few.
that's a lot of species.
That is a lot. Is it a combination of migratory and
Yes, right.
residential birds? I don't know what
Yeah.
non-migratory.
Non-migratory.
Non-migratory, yeah.
Yeah.
The
Is that the
non-migratory bird.
techno?
Is non-migratory the
Correct.
technical
Yeah, right.
opposite
Yeah,
term?
you got like
Okay.
sharptails and pheasants and Hungarian partridge and magpies and that kind of stuff that hang around all the time. And they've got all the little passerines and stuff that migrate through, and waterfowl. There's no waterfowl in the winter. I mean, some of them hang around on the river in town because it's open water, but we don't have any open water in the winter. So it's pretty quiet out there.
So back on episode 162 of the podcast, we talked with Brent Launer from FWP at Freeze Out.
Sure.
Can you tell us a little bit about the difference between bird migration at Freeze Out and what's happening at Benton Lake?
Freeze out.
Because you need to be an expert in both now.
Well, no, freeze out
I
gets
imagine he has an idea.
freeze out gets a lot more snow geese than we do.
Okay.
And freeze out's kind of at the base of the Rockies, so those birds follow the mountains. But you'd think if a bird's flying at 4,000 or 5,000 feet, they can see Benton Lake.
Right.
But we don't get anywhere near the number of snow geese they
It's
do.
too far out of the way for them?
2,000 snow geese, it's a lot. And they can get a couple 100,000 sometimes. We don't get that.
I've always kind of wondered because I'm like, really, it's not that far away from
No, I
each
mean, you
other.
can sit at Benton Lake and see the Rocky Mountain front.
Right.
You know, freeze out is right over there, but they just don't come out that far for whatever reason.
Lazy. Just kidding.
Who knows?
I was just gonna say my stupid question, but I'm not gonna
Go for it.
not
There's
gonna
no
do
stupid
it.
question.
Oh, it's a little bit funny. So
Well,
no,
now
I'm
we're
not
waiting.
doing it.
No, go ahead.
So you've seen birds fly in a V,
Yeah.
and you've always seen one tail longer than the other in the V.
Well, it's because there's an odd number of birds.
That was my question. Why why is one line always longer than the other?
Well, the last bird in line just keeps moving back and forth because she or he can't figure out where the best drafting is. Yeah.
So
And
my
that's true.
Earth-
I mean, those birds, the lead bird is the one kicking it, and that's using up all the energy, and the
Yeah.
other guy just draft off everybody. That's why they're flying a V.
yeah.
Do they ever trade? Or the one in the front
like
just
cadence,
Well,
they
he's-
gotta
the
run up
one in the
and-
front's the one with the map. Otherwise, they don't know where they're
that's
going.
true. Can't move out of there.
No.
Yeah.
When I was in high school, my earth science teacher says to me, "You ever seen birds fly in a V?" I'm like, yeah, I've noticed. He goes, "You always notice one line's longer than the other?" And I'm like, yeah. And he goes, "You want to know why that is?" And I said, "Love to." And he goes, "Because there's more birds in that line than the other." And I'm like, just expecting
Helpful.
some
Thank you.
science.
Where'd you go to school?
Good question.
Whitewater High School.
I want to meet that guy.
Yeah, he's pretty good. He was also the one who tried to teach me about clouds, the different types of clouds.
Oh, okay.
And his rationale for me needing to learn this was, he's like, you're gonna be one day in your car driving somewhere, and your kid's gonna look out the window and go, "Mom, what kind of cloud is that?" And what will you say? And I said, my answer will be, ask your father, because clearly there will be one of those if I have children, and he needs to know those things.
Just tell them there's gray clouds
Yeah.
and white clouds. That's all you got to
exactly.
know.
So.
Don't need to any more than that.
So, Mr.
what
Burgum, I
school's
do
for.
apologize. I never had children because of that. No,
That's
I'm
where
joking.
That's where it was decided.
Like,
I don't
if
want to
they're
learn
gonna
about
ask me these
clouds, therefore no
questions,
kids.
I got through
geez.
my earth science classes just fine. I was not a stellar student.
Well,
but
clearly you remember things from it.
yeah, those
Maybe
two
not what
things.
you were supposed to, but
Couldn't tell you the difference between a cumulus and a cirrus cloud.
you know the names.
I
That's
know
a
they
start.
exist.
You could at least, if you had a kid, just say one of those.
Everyone who's listened to this podcast now knows I will just make up an answer, and the kid will
Yeah,
have to
they
learn
know.
long term if it's true or not.
She does it. Yeah, feel free to jump in, Bob, because she likes to just make claims
up
about
about
things and
clouds
just
and
throw it out and
things.
see if anybody corrects her.
I got a doozy about Pompey's Pillar if you ever want to talk about that one day.
Oh, down near
It's not in our
buildings.
area.
No.
Did you sign that? Your name on there with Lewis and Clark? Louis?
She thought it was open for everybody.
Just get a hammer and chisel and put your name
Like
in
a
there.
was
bathroom
here.
door. Yeah,
All right.
the heart.
Oh,
Oh
dear.
my goodness.
So
So many visitors per year
Yeah.
does Benton Lake Wildlife Refuge get?
Well, we estimate 10,000, but I don't know if that's right.
Oh.
We have to do a report.
Sounds like a Rebecca's fact.
We have
Yeah.
to do a report every year. It's called a Refuge Annual Performance Plan, and you report all these silly little things. How many visitors did you have, and how many fishing visits or hunting visits, and it's a wild guess. I don't
Right.
know. So
You're
you
not
gotta-
asking every person who shows
no,
up.
we just
Yeah.
guess.
Well, your fishing visitors should be 0. There's no fish.
Oh, believe it or not, some people come out there. We had a guy pull up a couple of years ago with his boat, getting ready to go walleye fishing. Where's the lake? Not here.
Yeah.
There isn't one.
You kind of missed it.
Do people try to kayak on it or paddleboard on it?
You can't. All the upper units are closed, and you use a boat. You can use a boat in the hunt area if you're hunting waterfowl, but the upper units you can't.
I don't think I want to go kayak out there when people are hunting. So
It is a marshland, Shannon. Marsh.
I know, but they add water. You just
You know, and
It's not like
said
it's
I
deep.
could.
There's still weeds everywhere.
This is why I'm asking.
there's a lot
I
of
don't
mud,
know.
though. You can get up to your knees in
Ooh.
soupy, gooey mud.
Yum.
We
Which
go
is-
down by, where do we go? It's blanking on me, but down on the Missouri River, far, far from here, we go paddle fishing. Fred Robinson Bridge.
CMR. Never go off the road at CMR when
No.
it rains because you'll never get out of there.
Also,
Oh.
don't shoot prairie dogs down there. That's not
No,
allowed.
don't do that.
You
That's
get in
a
trouble.
bad idea. Yeah,
It's illegal.
yeah, don't do
Oh.
that.
But the mud, that's where I was going with this, is impressive. Do you have the same kind of mud?
Not quite as bad. But,
Oh.
I've
I've lost a shoe. Just
I could see that.
I
Just
think there's
that
I
bad.
think there's people that have lost hunting buddies over there.
Oof.
And
Yeah.
I've heard stories about non-resident hunters that bring their fifth wheels and
Oh.
rented RVs and down there, and they
Oops.
can't get them out.
Yep.
So what do you do then
That's
if
a
you're
bad
supposed to have it back
experience.
next week and 6 months later it's still sitting there?
Yep. Best of luck. This is where it's located.
You know, if it rains, don't go there. It's it's just that gumbo. It's
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
it fills up the wheel wells. You can't get off your shovel. If you're dragging a deer or an elk, they get all covered with that crap.
And that means the
Oh.
road itself too. Like
Yeah.
there's a climb out of like the Slippery Ann area
Yeah.
as you get closer to the highway. That is a heck of a hill, and it's still just muddy gross.
Are there signs warning about this?
I don't think so.
No, you kind of learn by doing over
Yep.
there. And
You just have to
you'll
know.
only do it
ask.
once.
Yeah.
Well,
You just have to
that's
ask
why
some
there's
folks.
RVs stuck over there. Then yeah,
You don't want to do it
we
more
could
than once.
start preventing this. But
It's not fun getting a lot
how
of mud.
far away is this again?
Oh,
Slippery Ann is about you go to
200 miles?
you go to Lewistown, then you go to
Okay.
Eddie's Corner up there, and
Because that the spot you can hear the
elk.
elk too.
The
Oh,
elk
yeah.
giggling.
Yeah,
that's
and
the
Slippery
viewing
Ann.
areas right there. I
Okay.
mean, people come in buses and they put
Yeah.
up chairs and
Yeah.
it's all, and they're
That's what I've
It is.
heard.
they're not. You've never seen it?
I've never seen it in person.
Oh, you
I've
should
I've
go.
seen a video.
It's
It is an impressive experience.
Is this mud situation an issue year round? Am I going to get stuck in mud
as long
watching
as
the elk?
No, as long as it's not raining. I mean, the road to the viewing area is pretty good right
Yeah.
there.
Okay.
I mean, they bring out buses from Billings, and you get old
Yeah.
folks sitting on lunch. I mean, they're right there. It's not. People think it's a zoo, but it's
Yeah.
not. It's big.
People think
bull elk.
Yellowstone's a zoo, so it's fine.
It's big bull elk. Beating the
Bugling.
hell out of each
Yeah.
other.
Yeah.
And elk running all over the place.
When is the
and
best time to see that?
Mid-September when
Yep.
when the elk rut
With the rut?
peaks. Yep.
Okay.
when they start to show off for the ladies.
Yeah, and the ladies are visibly annoyed. Makes sense.
Well, what really happens is the big bulls are over here fighting, and some little rinky-dink bull sneaks
Yeah.
in
It's
and
like, hey,
breeds a
pretty lady.
female. It's like,
See, yeah. I mean,
the silly boys are over there seeing
learn
who's the
some
biggest
lessons
dude.
from the
yeah,
elk here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, and they don't pay any attention to you. They're like they're
And they're
so
right there.
dumb at this time.
And it's
Yeah.
just right there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. One
Well,
track
last
mind.
year our LEO was over there. They were patrolling, and they found a dead bull in there that they thought had been poached, but it wasn't. It was killed by another bull.
Oh my
Oh.
gosh.
Big
Which happens.
monster bull. Yeah, he
Yeah.
got his
Yeah.
right,
Right in
stuck
his
in his
chest.
lungs, and that was the end of that.
Ooh.
So they do kill each other.
Yeah.
I mean, that is the intent.
Yeah. That's
They're not
intense.
friendly.
This
So
is
on
like the
that
one
topic-
situation though where I just realized this is like the one situation where we're telling people like, yep, just sit up, camp out. They're not going to bother you. Like any other time, don't
Yeah.
mess with the wildlife.
No,
and
they're-
Keep your
like,
distance.
Yeah.
It's a unique place.
This is a
It
unique
really is to see
opportunity
that.
to
Yeah.
do that. Yeah.
Just to sit there and watch it. It's
Yeah.
unreal.
So you had mentioned earlier, we have talked a little bit, this grouse house.
Yes.
Tell us all about that and the
Ooh.
experience with that. The lek, is that how you say
A
it?
lek. It's
Tell
where
me what that is.
sharptails, sage grouse, prairie chickens, they do their mating displays.
Wait, prairie chicken's the official name?
Well, no, there are lesser prairie chickens in Kansas and Nebraska.
Okay.
It's a separate species.
Okay.
And there's sharp-tailed grouse, sage grouse, the big, the big sage grouse.
Yeah.
They display on these leks that are used for year after year. Some of them, I think, have been in use for hundreds of years. They never change. They're always there. We have 4 on the refuge. We just have the grouse house on 1. And
Wait, what's a lek?
it's where the males come to display and the females come. And then
Okay, so when you're saying you have 4, it's like this
4
place
different
they've been
ones
coming.
for
It's
a long time.
Distinctive spot.
Yeah, and there's
Okay.
lots of leks around. I mean, you
Okay.
can go out in the boonies and find them. They're not that hard to
Gotcha.
find.
Okay.
So it's like the club for people.
Well, male sharp-tailed grouse are the ultimate nature's optimists. They hang out there all year,
Just waiting.
Waiting for the ladies.
and there's not much that goes on when ladies aren't there. But you watch all those boys will be sitting there, and it's like somebody throws a switch, and they all do the little dance, and they stop. It's like how the hell do they do that? It's synchronized. It's like nobody will do anything, and they all do something, and they stop.
It's Night at the Roxbury.
Choreography.
It's bizarre to watch that. It's like who puts this
Right.
signal? I don't know. Weird.
It's out
Watch
of
'em.
our range of hearing, but there is some
Some
symbol
little
somewhere.
key.
Yeah.
So you can book the grouse house to see this in this one specific area.
We do a drawing, which I will do next Monday.
Ooh.
It's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday from end of March through about middle of May when things pretty much slow down because all the hens are on nests by then. And we have, I think I'm up to like 80, and there's not that many, and nowhere near that many slots.
Oh.
So everybody doesn't get in.
So how do you get your name
In
on the
demand.
list? Like you
Just
call.
send us an email with your name and
No, Carol's done that. She was.
Well, that's what she said,
That's how
and
we
I
got all
know-
connected.
Katie Katinsky, who's been on our podcast episode, she goes out there.
Yeah.
And I
will-
know because she sends us pictures, but
I will say, when Carol was talking about it, this was obviously I knew about Benton Lake Wildlife Refuge. I did not know about this opportunity. I did not
Really?
know about the lek. I didn't know about the opportunity to rent the grouse house, any of that. So I'm excited to learn more. And if you'll still allow me, I'm planning to go out there so we can get some footage, do a story all
we'll
about
do
that.
that.
So
There's enough room
Yeah.
in the house for like 6 or 8 people, so
Okay.
you could bring your
Well-
husband, your friend, whatever.
it'll probably just
I'd
be
come.
me. Okay, great. I'll let you know when it's
You
happening.
got to be there an hour and a half before sunrise.
That's fine. I'm
Yeah.
an early riser, Bob.
Carol wants to
Okay.
come. She wanted to do a team activity. I'm not sure
Yeah.
we'll get Callie on it, but
I doubt she'll show up.
I'll
children.
take you guys out there and
Perfect.
just put you in it and leave you, and you can stay there as long as you want.
Perfect. Well,
You can
yeah, I'm
figure
gonna
out your
get some.
own way home.
No,
Footage.
you
Get an
you
on-
park.
yeah.
It's pretty easy. It's,
Perfect.
You can't get lot wise.
We'll get an on-camera interview with you so people can see your
Ooh,
face.
look at that.
We'll
if
talk
it's
more
Well,
allowed.
about
actually,
that
I'm in the
later.
witness protection program.
So
I can't
no,
do that.
just
so-
voice, which has been odd.
We told you this podcast goes worldwide, Bob.
Yeah, but they can't see me. See, so I'm all right.
There you go. Okay, so people book this.
Yes.
You arrive an hour and a half before
Right.
sunrise. Okay, which is, anywhere depending on the year between 5 and 6
4:30.
a.m.
Yeah, around there.
Yeah. Okay, and what can you expect? What are we watching this choreography from
Yes.
sage grouse?
Yep.
Okay.
How many
Sharp-tailed
birds we
grouse, not
talking
sage
about?
grouse.
What was that?
Sharp-tailed.
Sharptail, sorry.
Not sage. How many?
Sharptail.
There's about 35 males on there usually.
Holy moly!
Now,
So-
what are you hearing when this is happening?
You can hear rattles of feathers, but they've also got a vocalization that you can hear. It's
Can you do an impression for
me?
us?
No, not really. It would be.
Ooh,
It
she's
would be. It'd be really
hard-hitting
sad.
questions.
Now sage grouse, they get that really boom, 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 and sharptails are not like that.
Okay.
It's more. It's just a. It's not quite that vocal, but you
Well-
can still hear them. And you can hear them for a long ways off if it's a quiet morning.
So does it starts like right as the sun kind of comes over, kind of what's their
They even
pattern?
when if the girls show up, even when it's dark, they're
Okay.
ready to go.
Okay.
And the most fit males are in the center of the lek. So all the females try
Oh,
to
so
get
they
there
have-
because they want to breed
Oh.
with the most fit boys.
Well, obviously.
So
The
it's-
hottest,
Yeah.
the hottest dudes.
And I don't know how they decide who's who, but it's
Yeah,
it's beyond me. They all look the same to me.
I'm
Right.
gonna go with pheromones.
Yeah, it's
That's
a
it.
scent,
That's all I
thing.
know.
Yeah.
And it's and I they all know how to do the dance. How to do nobody teaches them that.
Yeah.
The boys are born that way, so they're all there doing their thing.
Yeah.
It's pretty impressive.
I'm
Instead of
excited to see the
peacocking, we
dance.
can call it sharptailing.
Sure,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Best of luck getting that adopted.
I'm
I'm
gonna-
just saying. Now we're gonna have hashtag on all of our social media
Sharptailing.
posts. Sharptailing.
You know what? That's what we'll name this
That-
episode.
Okay. Because the other one I want to get adopted is Lewis and Clarked It. I want to hashtag Lewis and Clarked It. So anytime you do an
floated
adventure,
the river.
well, anytime you do something crazy, I Lewis and Clarked It. Probably
That
not gonna
doesn't roll
happen
off
either.
the tongue as easy.
No.
Sharptailing.
Sharp Lewis and Clark. I don't think that's going to catch on. Maybe a
Bob, you
T-shirt.
don't even listen to podcasts.
Maybe a T-shirt, but I don't know about the podcast.
Yeah, a T-shirt. There you go.
Yeah, sell T-shirts.
I'll
Lewis
get
and
a
Clark.
T-shirt.
That says
done.
I Lewis and Clarked it.
Yep.
Whatever that means.
We'll do an education symposium. It'll catch on faster
Yeah.
than your sharptailing.
We'll see. My episode's going out tomorrow with the name on it. Okay, so this grouse, the house, I'm picturing like a shed with like a skinny window I peer out of. Is that accurate?
I think there's 4 windows that have a little. You can pull the windows down.
Oh.
And then there's 8 or 10 chairs in there. It's fairly roomy.
Okay.
So you can bring friends with you if you want. They want
Yeah.
to see that.
Does it come with any, let's call it hospitality services? Hot chocolate, coffee?
Bob, are you going to bring us some
Breakfast
breakfast?
You're on your own. Sorry.
Are you allowed to bring things with you?
Sure.
Not feed it to the birds,
Just
though?
don't bring a shotgun and start shooting them. Yeah, we wouldn't like
I'm
that.
not going to do that.
No, if you want to have breakfast out there, feel free.
Okay.
Your
There's no-
LEO is going to show up and you're going to meet what a former Marine looks like with
Yeah.
a shotgun. I'm just guessing. I don't know what actually
How often
happens.
do you see these? Is my breakfast going to bring the grizzlies in when I'm watching?
Ooh.
We haven't
Yeah,
had
see, it
grizzlies
could.
for a couple of years.
But they're they've been.
Well,
this is a whole
last
other
year
topic,
you saw
but
the
they're
video
coming
in
down
Ulm.
further.
I mean, they were
Yeah.
running down side street in Ulm. I mean, they're here.
Yeah.
Special agent told me they just captured one in Sims 2 days ago.
Oh.
Had to move them out of there, or her, as the case may be. So they're moving.
And I was telling Rebecca that the grizzlies were originally prairie animals.
Exactly right.
Yeah. See?
They were in North Dakota.
Yeah. They've just got pushed as
back into the
population.
mountains.
Yeah. Now they're like, we're taking it back.
And they're going to show
And they're
up.
going to win.
They're going to
Yeah.
show up, and they're going to end up in North Dakota. I mean, one of these years is going to be grizzlies in North Dakota. They're going to follow the river right through CMR, right to the border, and
Yeah.
away you go. There was supposedly one in Jordan last year. Now, I don't know if that's true or not.
That would make sense to me. I've been to Jordan. Things will.
They can take
If
it over
Sasquatch
easier.
exists, he's in Jordan.
But-
because there is
Doesn't
a
Sasquatch
lot
like,
of
you know,
land.
but isn't it more open, barren land? Sasquatch likes the forest.
There's a lot of valleys and hills and
Mm-hmm.
not a lot of people.
Are you a believer in Sasquatch?
No.
Bigfoot?
Sorry. No.
Oh, it's okay. I don't have a
She also
preference
doesn't
either
believe
way.
in aliens, so
No, go.
ghosts.
Not
That's
a
what
big. It's a whole other conversation.
I'm not. Sasquatch is a bunch of baloney as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
With all the people that have been in the woods all these years, nobody's ever found one.
Yep,
Give me a
it does.
break.
Nope.
Just really, come on.
But how much could I pay you to dress up in a
As a
Sasquatch
Sasquatch.
suit when we
Somebody-
come to the grouse house?
Scare the hell out of people? Yeah, right. Then I'd probably get shot.
That's true.
Well, we've already said no shotguns in the grouse house.
Yeah. That doesn't mean somebody's not bringing it.
So they got a 45 in your purse, you know?
Yeah. No, this is what we should do is when we're there, figure out a way for Callie to come
Oh.
and prank Callie.
That would be fun.
We just don't want any like seizures or heart attacks
Yeah.
or anything that requires medical intervention. That wouldn't go over. I have to try to
That's true.
explain that. They wouldn't like that.
Yeah, there's a section on his report that's going to
Are
say
you ready to retire, Bob?
shenanigans.
Sasquatch showed up. Oh,
Yeah.
no.
Okay. So, this episode's coming out Friday, as in tomorrow when we're recording it, the 22nd of March. You said on Monday, as
Monday's
in the 25th.
drawing. So next Thursday will be the
Okay.
first day. And there's probably not any
the first day
The
people
first day
can
you
go
can
out.
use the
Okay.
grouse blind. There's probably not going to be any females there.
Okay.
They don't usually show up for another week or so.
Okay.
But there could be. I mean, but still, the boys are still there doing their thing.
Yeah.
So you can still see them.
So you just assign people to a time or a day and they
They
have to
get a
show
day,
up?
and you don't have to share with other people. If
Just
you're
show up.
drawn, you can bring 6 of your closest friends and stay out there.
Yeah.
Okay.
It sounds like fun.
Yeah. So if I want to get in on that, I just have to email
I'll call you and,
by Monday.
we won't put you in
Today.
the drawing. We'll just bring you out.
Oh, no, not me. But if somebody listening
Yes.
to this.
Right. They just send an email to Benton Lake
By
at
the-
fws.gov with their top 3 dates between March 28th, May 15th, Thursday through Sunday.
Okay. There you go.
We finally were able to pull our rank in this community to get some type of benefit. It's taken
We
us
don't have to go in the lottery.
170 some episodes to finally.
Well, we usually get
Say.
there's a guy from Malmstrom brings a bunch of airmen out there every year.
Oh, nice.
Some new kids
Cool.
that haven't seen that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And then there's one of the schools in town. I can't remember which one. He brings a science class out.
Ooh.
So
a good
we
idea.
we do that. And it
Mr.
used
Burgum.
to be used to be Paris Gibson would come, but they haven't called me in the last couple of years. But
Oh,
we'll let kids come like to do that because it's a unique experience.
Yeah.
it is.
After this many years of seeing it and experiencing it, are you surprised by anything out there that you see on any given day?
Surprised.
Or anything different happen? Or is it kind of the same
Well, last year,
same year in and year out?
and we have a lot of antelope that come and go in the refuge. Antelope typically don't jump fences. For
Okay.
whatever reason, they like to crawl under fences. Well, there was this really nice buck antelope who was standing in the stubble field north of the refuge, and I was driving out the road, and he just came dinking down along there and jumped across that fence like a thoroughbred horse. Like it's like,
Oh.
Holy
I think that's
moly.
the first time I've ever seen an antelope jump across the fence. Just whoosh, the way he went. So they can do
Been
it.
watching the deer.
So I don't know why they just like to go under them for whatever. And you see
Yeah.
them; they have these terrible scars on their back from barbed wire fences. They get all chewed up, and he just away
Maybe
he went.
he's evolving. He learned
I
that
don't
jumping
know,
is
but
He's
he
been
was-
watching
it
the
was-
deer going, I wonder if I can do that.
He
And that
can
was the
stay,
first time he did it.
He had no problem at all doing that. That was quite impressive.
Yeah.
So,
He probably walked around like, hey, jump that fence over there.
but there was nobody to see him. He was all by himself, so he wasn't impressing anybody.
Well, that's why I'm thinking it might have been his first time. He wanted to test
Do
it out to
before
make
in
sure.
front of
Didn't
his
fall on
friends.
his head.
Yeah.
Like, can I do this? Nobody's looking. I'm going to give it a
I'm
shot.
going to try it.
He did well. I wish I had a camera, but I didn't have one. Would have been perfect.
So we talked about, people who don't understand the loop system or who, don't keep their dogs on a leash, things like that. What other
Rules.
oddities have you seen from visitors or fun questions or experiences?
Ooh, number one question, Bob. What is
You
it?
want an X-rated example? I can give you a really I can keep
Sure,
it
why
fairly
not?
clean.
This
This
Shannon
was a
should
number
know.
of years
teenagers
ago
go? Is that
when
what
I
you're
was a
saying?
collateral duty law enforcement officer, and the entrance road comes in a tease to go to the auto tour.
Okay.
And there was a car parked there at 11:30 in the morning. So I went out there, and there was a couple in the car, and you can imagine what they were doing. 11:30 in the morning. So I pulled my truck up. I mean, my bumper was touching their bumper, which didn't do anything.
Didn't phase them.
So I hit the siren I had. That didn't do anything either. They were
Okay.
pretty well engrossed. So finally, we got them all separated.
With deep
got 'em out of there.
conversations with each other.
Yes.
I got them out of there and said, "What are you doing?
Yeah.
You got a school bus full of kids come by here. It's 11:30 in the morning,
Yeah.
right on the auto tour." Oh well, whatever. And then to make it even more tragic, the guy that was there, he was a Forest Service pilot, and he was a firefighter, and he was killed in a plane crash 2 years later.
Oh my
Oh.
gosh.
So
Oh.
Bob, that's
wow.
like an awful story.
it's part of what you see.
I
What
feel like
are
I
the
need one of my sound effects.
Yeah.
Like, oh, here, hold on. Is this it?
It
What's
was
There
the
you go.
most inappropriate one, or the most appropriate
don't
one?
for an inappropriate story. It was
I'm not
like
going to go through the full
Gamut.
thing.
I get that.
Yeah.
I forgot we had them actually.
Yes.
So
I've seen people out there that have bicycle tires that go flat, so they're walking
Oh.
their bike back for 6 miles. It's like
See, when you were talking, this is my embarrassing moment now. When you were talking earlier, when you were saying auto tour, I was thinking auto is an automatic, like this is it. And then I realized auto, you mean you drive it
Vehicle.
around. Yeah.
this is the caliber of people you're dealing with today, Bob.
Because I'm thinking I go out there, I walk, it's wilderness. I'm walking through it. So that's where my brain went. And I was like,
that's all right.
8 mile, but I could walk it,
Sure.
right?
You
Yeah.
can walk the whole thing if you want.
Yeah.
Yeah, people walked all the days of their life. 8 miles isn't that long.
But it's probably not a good
know.
idea in midsummer because the mosquitoes can be horrific.
Oh, that-
so
yeah.
you don't
Marshland.
probably
Do you
want to
get-
do that.
I imagine you see just as many snakes out there as other places, or no?
There's rattlesnakes and garter snakes and that kind of.
Yeah.
Snakes like to swim.
We
I
see
know, that's
rattlesnake.
not
I mean,
fair.
prayer rattlesnakes, and
Yeah.
they're pretty mellow. You got to really
Get them.
do something dumb to get bit. And we got bull snakes, and so they're out there.
What is the most frequent question you get asked out at the refuge?
The most frequent question.
Does auto tour mean automobile?
Nope, that's a new one.
Oh God, I can't.
Can I come at night? Can I take a bird home?
Ooh,
Just kidding.
Oh, okay. The people like to collect stuff.
okay.
The only thing you can take off a refuge without a permit is a picture.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
About a month ago, it was a Friday afternoon, and we're looking out the window with a spotting scope, and we see this car back up. It's a truck with a topper on the back, and lady backs way up on one of the approaches where she shouldn't be, and I'm watching. She gets out, opens the back of the truck, and starts loading rocks in the back of her truck.
Oh, my gosh.
So I go out there, and this poor woman was handicapped. She's got a cane. She's got a pit
Oh.
bull that was ready to kill me. Is sitting in the car.
So it's an
and-
odd visual.
Yeah, it's and she's loading these big rocks. I said, "What are you doing?" She says, "Well, my driveway's muddy and I need some rocks." And I said, "Well,
Can't take
you
those.
can't take anything but a picture. You got to put them back."
There's so many other places
So
for
she
that.
goes and she puts them back, and then she drives by me, and she's got her little ciggy butt, and she waves, and the dog trying to jump out the window, and off she goes.
How bizarre.
I'm going to tell you, my grandmother stole rocks from Glacier National Park.
Oh, yeah.
And I would
I feel like
say
that's
this would
probably
be
a
my
common one.
grandmother, but she's passed. So
Yeah.
it was not my grandma. But
Well, I was doing a detail
It happens.
in Yellowstone once
Yeah.
at one of the little contact stations, and they have native prairie plants with signs on them
Yeah.
in front of this. And this woman comes up with a big white bucket and starts digging up the plants, putting them in her
Oh.
bucket with the signs.
What?
well, that's how she knows she was getting what she wanted.
What?
It's like, man, you can't do that. And then she got pretty ticked off that we stopped her from taking the plants. She thought that was perfectly okay.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It's not. You
People.
have to leave everything where it's at, people.
You run. We did a detail at Mount Rushmore once, one July 4th, and it was super dry. And these people are coming in there smoking cigarettes and
Oh.
flinging them,
Oh,
and then they
no.
get pissed off when you tell them you can't do that.
Oh no.
And if you've never been to Mount Rushmore and you could go on the 4th of July to see the fireworks display, I'm not sure they're doing it anymore because of the political ramifications, but that is one of the most amazing things I've
I
ever
bet
seen.
that would be neat.
They shoot them from the top where the
Oh.
heads are, but they
Mhm.
do it on the night of the 3rd, not the 4th.
Oh, okay.
So people show up on the 4th, and you got to tell them, well, it was
Yeah, you
yesterday.
missed
It was absolutely incredible. Really something.
There
That's
you go.
neat.
Super thing to see.
You know what else is great on 4th of July? The Hoot Nanny.
The Hoot Nanny.
right
Hoot Nanny,
downtown Great
downtown.
Falls. And then
We-
we shoot off our fireworks over the river
Yes.
so that even if it is dry.
And Voyager Stadium.
Yep.
Yeah. So I mentioned earlier, you know, some people think like Yellowstone National Park is a zoo. You see reviews that people leave for Yellowstone that's like, why didn't they let the animals out? Like, why, you know, I didn't get to see a bison, which I don't know how you miss bison there. But anyway, but they leave reviews of like thinking that it's a controlled zoo environment. Do you get any comments like that of like,
No,
why didn't they make the birds fly or something
we'll
like
get
that?
comments. Somebody was looking for a certain bird and couldn't find it.
Okay.
Which, you
Yeah.
know, it's just the luck of the draw.
Right,
They're
it's
here, but
nature.
you may
Mhm.
not see them.
Yeah.
So just come back again. And
Yeah.
I've had people they get a life bird. Some of the bird people that keep their life list, and they go absolutely nuts how great it was. You know, it's like, I don't have one of those lists. It's whatever. And then we have a stamp. You can
Okay.
people can get a little book of all the refuges, and they go around getting stamps. And it's like, I had people call me and want me to put them on a page and send it to them, and it's like,
No, you gotta
really
show
committed
up here.
to
no,
those.
well, it didn't do that way. It's like, geez,
No, they do that like the interpretive center too, or something. There's
Do they?
certain like pass punch things,
Yes,
stamps.
and like bird list, life list. I don't have one of those. It's like, really.
Pretty low key out at Benton Lake Wildlife
Well,
Refuge.
some of these people that fly to the Arctic to see some
Yeah.
rare bird and step on it and kill it. It's like just in there. I got to see this thing.
Yeah.
It's like,
You're not that committed to
no,
the
I'm not.
birds.
If I see it, that's great. If not, oh well, whatever. It's just the way it goes.
Is there the outside of the grouse house time, the time coming up? Is there a best time to go, or like a time when it's not so busy out there?
Oh,
I mean, really, any time of year you can go
Yeah.
and see something
yeah.
is what
it's
I'm
never,
getting
it's
at,
never
right?
that busy.
Okay.
There's some people there's a guy in town, a retired veterinarian, who sometimes in the summer he'll be out there 60 days in a row in the morning taking pictures. I mean, I don't know how many pictures you can take. He's got one of those camera lenses that look like the side of a barrel of a howitzer, and he's out there every single day. It's like,
Yeah.
but it's never really that crowded.
Yeah.
So it's not like Yellowstone where you got to wait 2 hours to
Right.
get in, or Glacier where you got to reserve a spot. It's not like that.
Just show up.
Yeah.
Sunrise to sunset.
Yes. And also in terms of the birds, though, like outside of the lek time and stuff, you'll always be able to see wildlife any time of year.
Yeah.
It's just more active here in the next couple
Right.
months.
In the winter, there's not much out there.
Yeah.
You'd be hard pressed
It
to
is
see any.
open, though. You
Right.
can go.
Yeah.
Okay.
You'll see deer. You might see a snowy owl, rough-legged hawks, winter here, and we see them. But boy, there's not a lot else. It's just pretty scarce.
Yeah.
But it's starting to crank up now.
Woohoo!
Mm-hmm.
So, folks, if you're into birds or solitude or auto tours that you would take in your vehicle
Or walk.
or circle in a bike, this is a really great place.
Mm-hmm.
The landscape is very different than what you'd see anywhere else in the state of Montana, which I always think is an important thing. Like there's so much diversity in our landscape. This is just one of those places that you can enjoy. It is fantastic for photography. We have a few pictures from Benton Lake up on our wall. And I just think it's a really great reason to come out here, especially if you're going to do freeze out and watch the whole migration thing that happens out there. You can come over and watch the mating that happens with the sharptail.
The sharptailing.
Yeah. You can
There you go.
Thank you.
you can take a picture of it and say you Lewis and Clark'd it. No, don't do me. And if you ever need help with getting the grouse house reserved or knowing anything more about Benton Lake Wildlife Refuge, Bob's your guy. But there might be other people out there he'll make you talk to as well. So
Yeah, you can meet our law enforcement guy. He's a good guy.
There you go.
there you go. I'm
Just not
looking
at
forward to
night.
running
He
into
likes-
him later.
He likes to. He'll sit and talk to you for as long as you want about
Good deal.
birds or whatever.
Yeah.
If you're a good dude, he's right
Yeah.
there. Just don't cross him.
Just not at night. Yeah.
But,
I hope my first meeting with him is one for the books.
he's a really good guy.
Nice.
And so, folks, this is just one more reason to come experience all there is to experience in the greater Great Falls area. And until we see your bright, smiling, happy, healthy, beautiful faces here in our fine, fine city, we hope you are creating amazing memories with your friends and family wherever you might be. We'll see you soon.
We're No Dam Experts is the recorded claims from Great Falls, Montana, covering what you need to know about this amazing damn town. Damn, that felt good.